Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica, and in today's video I am taking part in another one of Leanna Dalton's Beauty and the Soul challenges. Now these are monthly challenges that she puts together on Instagram. I think it's been a few months though. You know, life just gets really hectic and really busy, and Leanna has a very busy life outside of YouTube, and so she just kind of took a little break from putting these challenges together. But I will tend to poke her. Like, Leanna, are we going to do a challenge this month? Hey, Leanna, are we going to do a challenge this month? Hey, Leanna, are we going to do a challenge this month? And she said, yes, Erica, we will be doing a challenge pretty soon. So she did get this up for the month of May. I'm barely squeaking this in here. I think, when did she put the challenge up? Maybe last week or the week before, and I just had other stuff planned. But I love to take part in Leanna's challenges. Now, the Beauty and the Soul can apply to anything. It doesn't just have to be makeup. Any kind of anything that you're interested in, you can apply to the Beauty and the Soul challenges. But of course, because I'm super into makeup and this is a makeup channel, I felt like I could create a makeup look based on the challenge that Leanna came up with for the month of May. Now, this is all about aging. And I know I just did a collab video about aging with Kay, a couple weeks ago. So I don't really want to like hammer the aging thing down necessarily, but I do really enjoy talking about aging because I am almost 50 years old, and it's just a element or a theme of my life that I do think about. I really do. And I do think it's important that as we age, we're not quite so fearful of it. You know, I think that can happen. People get really nervous about the aging process and, oh, hey, and I don't want to be that way. I just want to age gracefully and love the aging process as much as I can. I mean, there's certain things about it I don't love, of course not. My stomach is growling. But I don't know, it's just a really interesting and important topic for me. And so, of course, I wanted to take part in this challenge. I would take part in any challenge of Leanna's. Doesn't matter what it is. I just love them. They're very thought-provoking, they're very introspective, and they're really interesting to apply to whatever interest that you have. And I think they're really interesting to apply to the makeup aspect of my life, of course. And I absolutely love and adore Leanna. She is one of my dearest friends. She is someone who is so inspirational to me in so many different facets of life. And if you guys have not yet gone to subscribe to her channel, or if you don't follow her on Instagram, I'll link her Instagram and her YouTube channel in my description box. Go subscribe and follow and show her a ton of love. She creates beautiful makeup looks. She talks about a lot of very interesting, important things. And she is hysterically funny. She is so funny. I just love her sense of humor. So I'm going to be putting an eye look together and of course talking about aging. I actually found some stereotypes or myths about aging that I want to discuss while I put my eye look together. And I'm going to be using the Mad Witch Cosmetics Chance Palette again. I did do a 2 looks video with this last week, or maybe the week before. Time flies for me. And this is my sister's new brand, Steph, not your basic Steph. And I just want to show this palette a ton of love. And I want to show my sister and her brand a ton of love, of course. And I think this is such a gorgeous color story. And if you did see my 2 looks video, obviously you've already seen this. And if you've seen it on Instagram, if you've gone to the brand's website, I'm so excited. And the reason why I chose this palette is because some of the shades in here, I would say, maybe some people might think aren't appropriate for aging eyelids, especially like these 2 shades here. They're more the flaky shimmers that I think some people think adds texture to your eyelids. And why would you, if you were older, why would you use those kind of shades? Well, I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter how old you are. You can use whatever shade on your eyelids, face, wherever you want to put it. Doesn't matter how old you are. So I have not yet used this shade right here called Twist of Fate. So that's what I'm going to be using in the look today. And I think I'm also going to be using the black matte called The Moment. And I think I will also use Destiny, maybe Possibility, I don't know. But definitely the shimmer shade. Absolutely. Super excited because, you know, the whole stereotype or myth, maybe it's not a stereotype, the myth of, well, you gotta, oops, my spray just fell over. You gotta change your whole makeup application because you're aging. I mean, if you want to do that, fine. go ahead. I mean, I've changed some things about my makeup application process too as I've aged, but you don't have to do that. You don't. So I have done both of my brows, and I have yet to prime my eyelid in the Milani eyeshadow base. So I'm gonna go do that. I'll come back and let's get going on my eye look and chatting about this aging stereotype nonsense. Okay, so my eyelid is primed, and I think what I'm gonna do is start off with Destiny, putting that in my transition area. And I might actually deepen it up with Opportunity because I haven't used that shade yet. And then put the Moment in my outer V and then Twist of Fate across the lid. Yes, because I really want that shade to be like, hello, I'm here, welcome. And I did find some stereotypes and myths about aging. And it's from the Brentwood Care Center is what it says on here. I don't have any experience with the Brentwood Care Center, but I mean, I think that the myths and stereotypes here are pretty true to form. And I'm not going to go over all of them because there's several, but I just thought I'd cover a few of them in this video. And the first one is that older adults are not interested in learning. I mean, why wouldn't an older individual be interested in learning? I'm super into learning stuff. Absolutely. Like, I love to watch documentaries and learn things about all kinds of different stuff. I really want to learn how to knit. Like, that's something that I've wanted to learn how to do for a long time, and I don't know why I have never taken the time to learn how to knit, but that's really what I want to do. I actually found a couple channels on YouTube about learning how to knit. So excited. And it seems like it's going to work out because, like, it shows the person knitting and, like, she really breaks down the steps and stuff. So I think I am going to go get myself some stuff like yarn and or wool or whatever, and some knitting needles. I really do. I just need to find the time to do it because now that I have my channel, that really takes up a lot of my time, which I love. I love. And that's another thing. Like, I didn't start my YouTube channel till I was 46. So, I mean, you know, these people that think, well, if you're older, you don't really want to learn anything. Baloney. Baloney. I didn't really get into makeup until I was, what, 42, 43? 43. Yeah. So, I mean, well, 44 maybe. I don't know. But it's just ridiculous to me that anybody would think that. I've heard that around me before. Like, oh, well, you know, so-and-so's older, so they don't want to learn how to, you know, do this and blah, blah, blah. Like, I've even had my kids kind of pull that crap with me. Like, well, Mom, you just don't want to learn how to do, you know, technology type stuff. If you really wanted to learn it, you could. And I'm like, okay, maybe you're right. Technology is just not my strong suit. I've mentioned that multiple times here. But I just think that's lame that that's what people would say or think, because it's just, like I said, it's not true. Another thing I really want to learn to do is how to play the drums. You know, that would be badass, I think. I've always wanted to learn how to play the drums, but just have never done it. And I mentioned that in another video, and several of my subscribers were like, yes, do it. And I'm like, you think I should? And they're like, yes. So I really want to, you know, invest some time and energy and money and whatever else into learning how to play the drums. That would be so freaking awesome. And how cool, like, for my grandson, I think. What if he was, like, super musically inclined and, like, we could start our own band? A grandmother and grandson band? Okay, I think that looks gorgeous. So now I'm going to deepen up the crease. I'm going to go into Opportunity and do that. The next one is older folks are not interested in exercise. That to me is bonkers. Now, here's the thing. I don't exercise really, and I really want to get back into it because I was exercising quite often. Well, I don't know, a couple of years ago. Like, well, right around the time I started my channel, I guess. I had, well, before I started my channel, I had been swimming. And I mean, I got to where I could swim like 100+ laps, and it was awesome. And I felt so good. And I was also doing water aerobics, which was also just amazing. Just really made me feel good because I've had 4 back surgeries and I can't do a lot of physical stuff anymore, but swimming and water aerobics. And the cool thing about those activities is that I wasn't feeling any strain on my joints at all. Because, I mean, yeah, I do physically feel a little older than I used to, for sure. But the swimming was so great because I could do that and get out of the pool and not feel like, you know, I'd been run over by a tractor. I mean, you do get sore. I mean, absolutely, I would get sore, but sore in that way of like, I just worked out and I feel great that I just worked out, you know, not like, oh my God, I don't ever want to get out of bed again. And I have many friends who are in their 50s and older that run marathons, that are into like all different kinds of physical activities, tennis and soccer. I'm trying to think of what else, but mostly marathon running, I would say. And I just think that's amazing. And a couple of my friends actually that are marathon runners, they didn't get into it until they were well into their 40s. So that's so dumb. I don't understand that. I'm gonna go back around with this brush just a little bit and blend that out. That's a really nice shade, that Opportunity shade. Is that right? Yeah, really nice. It deepened up the crease very nicely. And Destiny and Opportunity are melding very nicely together. So that's great. Yes. I just need to get myself back into exercising. I really do. It's really important that I do that, especially since I have had the 4 back surgeries. You know, I'm going to really regret it. I'm really going to regret it. I think though what I might do is go in with Possibility just a teeny tiny bitty bit and just kind of blend out that outer edge of that Destiny shade a little bit. Let's go on to the next stereotype here. Older adults are lonely and isolated. I mean, I guess, okay, well, how do I word this? Because I don't agree with that. But I also think that, like, my dad, for instance, well, but he's not, I mean, he does spend, obviously, a lot of time alone because my mom has passed away, and he does live on his own. However, he has a group that he meets with, I think is it once a week? Or I think it's once every other week. These gentlemen that live in his neighborhood. There's, you know, some older folks that live in his neighborhood. It's not like a 55 and older community necessarily. There just happens to be some older guys that live there, and they will meet up at one of their houses and have lunch and coffee and sit and chat. My dad also frequently will see former coworkers of his, will go out to lunch or breakfast or whatever with them. And he just loves that, you know, he really does. So, I mean, I know that can happen. I think sometimes with older folks, hold on, let me go get Bitsy. She's back in here. Go lay down. She's joining us now. Go lay down, sis. She will eventually. I do know that, like, that can happen. I think sometimes, I don't know, older folks as kids and grandkids, they just get busy with their own lives. And I don't know that, I think sometimes that can happen though, that, you know, people kind of get left because their kids and grandkids are too busy living their own lives. And I can see that that has happened. I've known people that that's happened to. But I still think that that is a very unfair assessment, because I think that, like, most of the older folks I know have friend groups, have all kinds of different activity type groups that they go and do, and it's fun, you know, and I'm looking forward to that too as I get older, you know. I don't have any problem like moving into like an assisted living center and like the ladies and I can just go rage on occasion. That would be wonderful. I mean, that's not going to be for hopefully quite a while, but I think that would be really fun. So now I'm going to go into the moment and put that in my outer V. Another myth is that seniors are not contributing members of society. Okay. Just was like, who says that? But I do, I have heard that, and I've seen that, you know, people saying things like that, that, you know, older folks are just a drain on society, and, you know, with Medicare and this and that, and how dare they, you know, suck the life out of the world. And I just think that's a horrible way to look at aging. Horrible. And I think people that say that or feel that way should be ashamed of themselves, because there's a lot of people that are older that are hugely contributory to society. And, you know, like I used to be involved in like a charity type, what's the word, like well, not nonprofit. It was just like a volunteer type organization for the unhoused. And most of the people that were contributing their time and effort and money and all kinds of different things to that volunteer program were all older, senior citizens, 55 and older. And if it weren't for those folks, I don't know how that program would have fared. You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know. That, I think, is an extremely unfair assessment and a ridiculous stereotype or myth. I guess these are myths. I'm going to go back around with, which brush? This brush. And just kind of blend the edge of that black mat out. That black mat is so nice. I didn't use that. Well, I did, but I put it on my lower lash lines, I think, and that was it. I hadn't put it on my upper lid yet, and I'm loving it, man. It's a very nicely pigmented black matte, not patchy. I love it. The next myth is all older adults are frail. I'm gonna bust that myth right down right now, okay? So my Nana, who is no longer living, she was 95 or 96 when she passed away. And that woman walked over 5 miles every single day from the time she was, I don't know, in her early 60s, all the way up until maybe a year before she passed away. And I mean, hoofed it. I'm not talking like, a light walk. She was like, I walked with her a couple of times, and I'm like, Nana, slow down. Because she was just on it, man. Now, the thing that scared us about my Nana, though, is that there was a couple times that she fell that made me a little nervous, and she didn't break her hip, but she screwed her hip up pretty good one time. Did that stop her? No, she just kept right on at it. But we would be like, Nana, please don't do that. And then it just got to the point where she just really couldn't do that anymore, just because, she was, 95, 96 years old. But I mean, if she could have, she would have. I guarantee you she would have kept doing that, because she just loved it. She loved to be outside. She loved to be physical. She was very athletic when she was growing up. She was born and raised on Prince Edward Island, and that's some rough living. They lived on a farm with no running water, no electricity. So she knew what it was like to live hard. And also the weather there was pretty harsh in the winters, especially. The book Anne of Green Gables is based on Prince Edward Island. I love this. I think this is really smoking out nicely, and it's blending beautifully. Love it. But yeah, my Nana was such a badass, and she was such an inspiration to me. Absolutely. So now I'm going to go into Twist of Fate and put that across the lid. The next myth is seniors are not interested in technology. Well, just kidding. I don't love technology, but have I ever, well, yeah. I mean, I did love technology when I was younger, more so than I do now. But it's never been like my strong suit. Okay. I've never been super into tech stuff. It's just not, I don't find it, well, it's not that I don't find it interesting. It's just not, ooh, this is so beautiful. Although this brush is not going to cut it. No, let me go in with my finger. Cause this is kind of that flake. Yeah. This is that flakier consistency, and it just adheres so much better to the finger. And oh, shut up. This is gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So I don't know that I'm the right person to like really be busting this myth down, just personally, because I don't love technology. Oh God, this shade is gorgeous. But I know a lot of older folks who are really into technology and who actually know more about technology than the younger folks in my life do, And I think part of it, like when I first got hired where I work right now, is that like Excel and some of those programs, that wasn't really my generation. That kind of came after me. Like my kids really learned Excel and just those different kind of programs. I can use Excel, of course. I mean, I have to, because I use it pretty much daily at work for spreadsheets and whatnot. But my boss kind of had to train me a little bit on some of that stuff, because it just wasn't something that I grew up learning how to do. I'm actually going to go in with this little brush here and pick up some flakes on the brush, and then just go around the edge like this edge right there, so it just looks a little bit more crisp. And I know, you know, my dad struggles a little bit with technology. He does. Like, I've had to go over there a handful of times and teach him again how to use his DVD player. But again, it's just because I think those things came along later for like myself, my dad, you know, just things evolve at a different rate. I think if you're not raised in that or with that type of stuff around you, it just takes you a little bit of time to figure out how to do it and how to use things. But I don't think it's that we're not interested, older folks are not interested in technology. I know a lot of people, like my boss at my old job, the dentist I work for, he was, you know, he's like what, in his, I think early 70s now, which blows my mind. And he was super tech savvy, super duper tech savvy. His wife also super duper tech savvy. So it just, you know, I think it just kind of depends on what you're interested in to begin with. Because tech stuff just has never really been my thing. The next myth is older adults are not interested in fashion. Okay, well, again, I'm not the best person to break this myth down either. Because if it weren't for Janny, I look a lot cuter now that Janny has been in my life and helping me with my fashion choices. So fashion has never been a big deal to me either. I mean, you know, I guess when I was younger, it probably was a little bit more than it is now. But I still think that's a very ridiculous assessment that older folks aren't interested in fashion. You know, a lot of times when I watch like the Grammys or the Oscars or whatever, it's the older women who I think have the best dresses on. I'm like, wow, and look super classy and elegant and just gorgeous, you know. I'm going to go back with the Moment shade, the black matte, and just kind of chill the edge of that green shimmer down. I love the green shimmer. That is absolutely stunning. It's very glittery looking. It's very beautiful. It's gorgeous. I absolutely love it. And I really like it with the grays and the black because it's really making it pop. I did kind of mess it up right there, so I'm going to go around with that other brush and kind of fix that a little bit. Oops. But, and my mom too. My mom was so into fashion, which is weird that I'm not more into it, I guess. But I'm going to go back in now with Opportunity. Just kind of go around the edge here. I mean, my mom looked like $1 million every time she left the house. And I'm not kidding. She looked so good and had the cutest outfits and loved to go shopping. And just always looked really nice, you know, and it used to drive her crazy. It used to drive my mom nuts that I was not into fashion at all. She'd be like, I remember one time her really close friend came and stayed with us for like, I don't know, a few days, or stayed with my mom. And I stopped by to see them, like have coffee with them. And I was wearing like these old grubby sweatpants and a grubby hoodie. And my mom's like, could you not? So funny. She was so annoyed with me. Let's see. The last myth here is that older folks have unhappy, grumpy attitudes. Yeah, I can see that a little bit with my dad. He gets pretty grumpy. A lot of his grumpiness is just that a lot of times he doesn't feel that great. I don't think he's not really a grumpy person. If he's feeling really good, he's wonderful to be around. But if he's not feeling good, he's a little grumpy. And my dad's dealing with some health stuff. But, you know, I also know some really, I know tons of older folks that are super happy and joyful and joyous and great to be around. You know, they're not grumpy and, what was it, grumpy and unhappy? I don't know. I think that's a dumb myth too. I think it just obviously depends on the person. I know a lot of younger folks that are real grumpy and unhappy. And yeah. I don't know that that's age dependent. I just think it's somebody's disposition, whether or not they're unhappy and grumpy. But I can say that sometimes my dad gets a little grumpy. I'm like, Dad, knock it off. Then I'm going to go back into possibility. And my husband really works with me on that. Like, hey, quit getting annoyed with him when he gets grumpy. Just have empathy and understanding. And I do. It's just sometimes I tend to be like the buffer sometimes with him. And that can be difficult because like when he's been in the hospital and that sort of thing. He gets real cranky with the nurses sometimes, and I have to kind of be like "Now, Dad, you didn't really mean to say that now, did you?" "Yes, I did." I'm like, "Dad, no. The nurses are not going to treat you very nicely if you're going to be a jerk to them." So, yeah. And I think, too, that he's obviously very comfortable with me. And so when he's kind of feeling like crap, he will, it's just not, it's easier for him to be a grump to me, I think, than other people, because obviously um, he knows I love him and he knows I'm not going anywhere. So, well, that just happens sometimes. So let me know what you guys think of these different myths and stereotypes about aging. I want to rage against all of those myths and stereotypes about aging. I just want to know. And I guess maybe it was kind of good for me to look through those things, because those are the exact opposite of what I want to do as I age. And so the exercise thing, I got to get back into it, man. I've got to. So I love this look. I think it's gorgeous. I'm going to go off camera, clean this up a little bit, do my other eye, the rest of my face, and I'll come back. So this, of course, is my finished look, and I just love how it turned out. I love the eyeshadow palette. It was so fun to play with it again. And of course, I'm going to show it to you again, but let me show you just a few things I threw on my face for my finished look. On my lips, I used a liquid lipstick from Half Caked. This is in the shade Low Key. I had some issues over here. I don't know what I did with the doe foot, but it just kind of blew up. I had to use my BB cream to kind of fix it. I don't think it's fixed completely, but whatever. I really like the shade, and I love the consistency of this. And this will stay on my lips all day long. And I don't know, I kind of struggled with finding the perfect lip color for this look. And this may not be perfect, but this is what I went with. For my upper lid liner, I used the Revolution Beauty Iconic Flick Ink Felt Liner. Loving this, it's amazing. And then I did use my 5D Lash Pow Volumizing Mascara from Revolution Beauty as well. Alrighty, so now let's talk about the eyeshadow palette. Mad Witch Cosmetics Chance Palette. This shade right here is absolutely stunning. Twist of Fate. It's that beautiful, kind of flaky, kind of smushy texture to it, shimmer. And I love the fact that there's green in it, of course, because green is my favorite color, but it's also got this really pretty gold, kind of like antique gold shift to it. It's so beautiful. I will say, though, that this shade is my favorite. After using both of these of the same consistency or same formulation, this is my favorite. I mean, this is beautiful. It really is. I think my look turned out really nice using this shimmer today. But this one, I don't know, man. It's just got my heart. It's that beautiful orangey, pinky, red, gold flip. Oh, and I really enjoyed all the mattes that I used. Destiny, Opportunity, The Moment, and Possibility. I put a combination of Destiny and The Moment on my lower lash lines. So I feel like I got the smokiness from the mattes and this beautiful, vibrant, shifty shimmer on my eyelids today. And I felt like talking about aging and using this palette was just perfect, because I do hear quite commonly people saying things like, you shouldn't use certain types of, don't fall off my desk, please, certain types of shimmers if you're older, because it adds texture to your eyelids, or you look ridiculous, or it's not right for an older person to be using a really vibrant, dynamic shimmer shade. And I think that's ridiculous. I don't think age should matter at all when it comes to anything, really. But makeup, I mean, I just don't understand that philosophy. I mean, yes, like I said, I think I said this at the beginning, there are certain things I do differently now that I'm older. Sure, there's lots of stuff I do differently now that I'm older, but I don't think those options or those choices should be taken away just because you've gotten older. And I would love to know what other myths or stereotypes you have heard about the aging process, or older people, senior citizens, whatever you want to call people that are older, more mature. We can chat about that in the comment section, because I just think that, like, I owe it to myself to not fall prey to these ridiculous stereotypes. And, a lot of these things I was reading, the stereotypes, I'm thinking, well, I know younger people that could be accused of these myths and stereotypes too. You know what I mean? So let's chat about that in the comment section. And I do know that maybe I tackled this challenge in a different way than maybe Leanna was thinking of. But because I just did like an aging, age is just a number collab, I wanted to do something a little different, kind of bring a different spin to the whole aging idea here for the Beauty and the Soul challenge of Leanna's. And like I mentioned, I'll have a link to her channel and her Instagram page in my description box. You guys are really missing out if you have yet to discover Leanna Dalton. She is so incredible, beautiful, talented, savvy, intelligent, hilarious, confident, strong, all the things that I want to be when I grow up. Leanna is just my absolute inspiration. And it's always a real pleasure and a joy to take part in her challenges, and I cannot wait for the next one. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your lives to sit down and watch this video. If you're new here and you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing, smash the like button, and of course, comment down below in the comment section. I love to chat with you guys there. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video. But in the meantime, please take very good care of yourself. Be well, safe, happy, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Drop it.